And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Hey folks, I am not a coffee drinker, which is kind of a bad thing because no matter where you go, people offer you coffee, but I know a lot of people like it, hence the popularity of Starbucks, hence the popularity of cappuccinos. And this is what this game is called, with some incredible components in here, which, since the game comes from Matagot, makes perfect sense. This game comes with these plastic you know what? We're going to throw them at the table anyway, so let's get going. At the beginning of the game, you basically, each player takes one set of cappuccino cups, although this one really looks like an ice cream cone. In fact, my kids saw these and like, ice cream cones! And it actually has a rule on the back of the box, do not put food in these cups, because I was really tempted to. But anyhow, you put these out kind of randomly. Everyone puts them out together, and you're supposed to have the colors evenly spaced out. They have a quote-unquote advanced variation of the game where you take turns placing them out, which I don't know why anyone would want to do that. But anyhow, on your turn, this is a 4-player game or a 2-player game where each person has 2 colors. But on your turn, you take one of your cups and you place it on any adjacent cup, like that. Now, nobody can go on top of this one because they are a lower height. But if white, for example, went here, then on a future turn, white would be able to go on top of here. You can't jump over spaces, so once you're isolated, let's say, for example, brown jumps here and then later jumps here, this one's isolated, and that player can just simply take that cup and put it in front of themselves. So you can see that that's really all the rules of the game. In fact, the game's so simple that I figured let's just show you kind of a quick rundown of how the game works. Now when it's over, you simply take each of the colors and you put all the ones that you have on the top there. And you can see in this instance, the ice cream color has won! Hooray! Now that was not a very strategic game. I was doing it fairly quickly. I wasn't putting a lot of thought into strategy. But you can see the different strategies. If you isolate a section, you'll be able to control that section. But anyhow, that's how you play. Now you can see that this game is incredibly simple. The problem, folks, is that while this game is incredibly simple, it doesn't really bring anything new to the gaming world. There are many games, including the very old Focus, where there were games where you put things on top of each other. Now, this isn't a direct copy, but I'm going to list a couple games that are very similar to this in how they feel. There was Fish Eat Fish from Out of the Box, where you moved fish around and they land on top and ate the fish underneath them. There was the Hey, That's My Fish with the penguin game, and that one you weren't landing on top, but you were moving around and making different islands on the board. And then there's a very good 2-player abstract game called Divan, where you move stacks around. Now this one here has a rule in it, which I haven't seen before, which was you can't attack a stack that's bigger than you. So essentially, when the bigger stacks come, you just sit there and take it as they come in. The component quality for this game is unbelievable. These are really cool pieces, although they don't fit in the box that well. They kind of push against the sides of it. They push the sides out a little bit. It's not a big deal. It's a little odd that they do that. But they're great, and they have pictures on them and to help differentiate between the colors, and that's cool. Setup is a little wonky because you kind of just set up, and that's kind of a random setup. And like I said in the overview, if you're placing that, oh, come on, that just lengthens the game out. Gameplay is quick and simple. I'm just not seeing much tension in the game. And in kind of an abstract strategy game, I guess I want to be like, ooh, what am I going to do next? There's not a whole lot of moves. There's just not a lot here. This is a really simple concept that they took and put some really cool components and put it in a box, but it's really not that entertaining of a game. And I played with 2, 3, and 4, and none of those configurations really seemed to make it that interesting to me. So while it looks cool, and it wasn't unfun to play, it's just not a game that I would really recommend that much at this point, because There are other games that bring a level of tension and that makes this more fun. And the rules are almost too simple. But don't get me wrong, simple rules in an abstract game is great, but there needs to be some intensity and some cool strategy. That's not here. So I really can't recommend this one.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at DicetowerNetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.